What's up guys, Dead Decliner coming back at you for another video. In this video we're going to go over 20 films that I love. This was a hard one for me to put together, but there's a lot of films that I like out there. There's a bunch of them, but it was hard for me to put this all together, and it took me a couple days to get this for you guys, but I got it down to 20 films. It was hard, but I did it. But we're gonna start here with I Spit on Your Grave from 1978. This movie it's a great movie. It's one of those ones that's really hard to get through. It's basically a revenge film, and it's about this girl who gets revenge on these guys who do things to her. I'm not gonna say what they do to her, but she gets revenge on them. And this movie is a brutal film. Like, it's one of those ones that's really hard to watch, really hard to sit through. But women who get those things done to them should get revenge on these people. And she does. She gets revenge on them. I have a poster right there, actually, of the movie, right up there. It's one of my favorite movies. That's why it's on this list. 20 films I love. And yeah, the second one's okay, but from 78, this movie it's good. Like, I like those kind of films that are hard to sit through, but it's like almost like an achievement. I watched that. It was hard to watch, but I did it. But it's one of those kind of films. But man, she gets revenge on these guys, and they definitely get the revenge, and it's a good movie. But we'll move on to my next one. Here is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly from 1966 with Clint Eastwood in it. He plays a good guy in this movie. He plays a good guy in a lot of his movies. But man, this movie's good. It's a Western movie from 66. Clint Eastwood does a great job in this movie. He does a great job in a lot of his movies. Man, he doesn't do movies anymore. He still like directs, kind of, I heard. But yeah, he's like 90. He's like 96 now or something like that. Clint Eastwood's up there in age, man. Like, when he dies, we're all gonna know about it. It's gonna be all over the news and everything. But I hope he doesn't die. He's really old, but he does. He was a good actor. I love a lot of his movies. That's why one of his movies are on my list. Let's move on to Gran Torino, another Clint Eastwood movie from 2008. Gran Torino's, man, it's good. It's basically this guy loses his wife and he used to be he's a World War veteran, and these Asian people move in, and he doesn't like these Asians at all. He's like, these Asians get on his property, and he's like, pulls a gun on them and stuff like that. Get off my property. And like, he's an old man, just want to be left alone, don't want to be bothered, stuff like that. And one day, this little Asian kid, and his buddies go break into his garage and try to take his car, and man, he is pissed off, and it's almost like he gets mad. And then, like, he becomes friends with that kid and stuff like that, and has him do chores around the place. And it's a good movie. It's a sad movie, because the ending is just crazy. I'm not going to talk about the ending. I'll let you guys figure that out. But from 2008, Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood in it. It's a good movie. Guys, check it out. Let's move on to The Bride of Chucky in 1998. This movie is good. This was hard to do because I like a lot of the Chucky movies. I like them all, but if I had to pick, Bride of Chucky's my favorite. I was young when this came out, 1998, and it's good. Like, there's so many great scenes in this movie where that guy, they shoot him with a nail gun, and he pops out and he looks like Hellraiser, and it's a good movie, like, fantastic movie. And that one scene where he's sitting on that guy and he rips out his lip ring, it's another good scene. There's so many good scenes in this movie. It's a hilarious movie. It'll make you laugh, and in like that one part where he lights that car on fire and he crawls back and he turns around, looks at the guy, and he flips him off. It's like it's just such a good movie. It'll make you laugh. It's a good movie just to throw on and have a fun time with. Like Bride of Chucky's fantastic. Like it's one of my favorites. I love that one. But we'll move on to here Below with Johnny Depp in it. This movie is based on a true story. It's from 2001. Has Johnny Depp in it, and it's basically this drug dealer. He gets sent to prison, and he gets sent to prison, and he learns about how to sell. I think it's marijuana. I think so. No, I think it's cocaine. Yeah, it's cocaine because he goes to prison for marijuana, and he comes back out learning how to sell cocaine. I think it is. It's been a minute since I've seen this movie, but it's one of my favorites. I love this movie. Johnny Depp does fantastic in this movie. It has Pee Wee Herman in it, actually. It's really good. It's a sad movie. The ending got me. The ending still gets me if I watch it. The ending will make you cry. Like, it was hard to watch, and like not like hard and like, hard to like sit through. It's just like, it's very sad, and it's based on a true story, and it's a good one. Below is this fantastic movie with Johnny Depp in it. Like, Johnny Depp has a lot of good movies, but this one you don't really hear that much of. But watch Below from 2001 with Johnny Depp in it. It's a great movie. We'll go on to the next one here. Enter the Void by Gaspar Noé. Came out in 2009. Gaspar Noé is one of my favorite directors. He's a UK director. So, like, not a lot of people have watched his movies because his movies are, like, really hard to get through. Like, there's some of his movies that are just, like, man, like it'll make you nauseous just to watch some of his movies. But I love him as a director. He's one of my favorite directors, one of my favorite UK directors, Gaspar Noé. And I've seen, like, most of his movies because they're hard to get through. I'm not gonna lie to you. These movies are not meant for everyone at all. But this one is really good. It's basically a acid trip about this guy who gets shot by the police and dies, and it's like an acid trip where he goes back in time to when his parents were young, and like he watches his parents and stuff like this. This movie's like, it basically is like an acid trip. Like, this movie has some beautiful colors in it. Like, he's going through life, but he's dead. He died, but he's going through like life and stuff like this, and his spirit goes through all these different life stuff, and it's a weird trippy movie to watch. Like, this movie is a trip to watch. I'm not kidding. Like, it's basically an acid trip, and it's a hard one to watch. There's another one that's very, very hard to watch. That movie is just fantastic too, but that movie's good too, but I had to choose one of his movies, and Enter the Void from 2009 is the one I picked. Give it a try. You might not like it. It might be kind of hard to watch, but give it a try. We'll move on to New York Ripper from 1982. This movie is good with Fulci. Fulci, man, I love his work. City of the Living Dead. There's plenty of them. Like, this movie, like, the freaking gore in this movie is just crazy good. Like, there's so much gore scenes in this movie. It's basically about these detectives, and they're looking for a serial killer. And man, like, these scenes, like the graphics in this movie are just good. Like, they use all practical effects, because back then, practical effects were the thing. I wish they'd bring it back. They do practical effects sometimes these days, but it's mostly CGI. But New York Ripper is a good one. If you guys are gonna watch an Italian movie, throw on New York Ripper. This movie there's a lot of like graphic scenes in this movie, but these Italian directors, they do good job. Like, I don't think Fulci's alive to this day, but back and then, but he does great movies. Fulci does great movies. He directs good movies. It's hard for me to pick, but if I had to pick one, it would be New York Ripper. This movie is just, it's a good Italian movie. I like Italian movies. You know, all those kind of movies are good. You know, same thing with Gaspar Noé. Like, he's another one of my favorite directors from the UK. Like, it's good stuff. But we'll move on to my next one here. It would be 1990, The It, with Tim Curry as Pennywise. This movie is this. I love it. Like, you know, Bill Skarsgård does a great job as Pennywise, but you know, this movie still scares me to this day. That Pennywise, Tim Curry does a great job. He will always be the best Pennywise. I don't care. Like, you know, I'm old enough, like, you know, today's day and age, kids are going to choose Bill Skarsgård because, and, you know, a normal kid probably never seen, you know, the 1990 It movie. I was very young when this movie came out, and I watched it and it scared me then, and it still scares me now. You know, Pennywise is a good job in this movie. It's a fantastic movie. Like, you know, don't get me wrong, the new It movies are good, but they're not like the first. The remake was good, like, it was scary, but this movie, you know, Pennywise back then from 1990 with Tim Curry, he does a great job in this movie. Like, man, that Pennywise will scare the shit out of you. Like, that one's scary, but it's good stuff. But we'll move on to The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers from 2002. Lord of the Rings, Two Towers. I've seen the extended cut. It's a fantastic movie. I'm a big nerd. I like nerdy things besides horror, you know. But you know, the extended cut of this movie is good. Like, if you're gonna watch the Lord of the Rings movies, watch them in the extended cut version. You get more detail, more story of certain characters. You get more story about them, and it's worth it. Like, if you like Lord of the Rings movies and you've seen like the theater cut ones, watch the extended cut ones. They're even better. Like, they're like 3-4 hour long movies. You know, if it's like a rainy day outside and you want to throw something on that's long, throw on the Lord of the Rings movies. Like, The Two Towers is my favorite. I love The Two Towers. It's a great movie. Fantastic movie from 2002. Let's move on to The Devil's Rejects from 2005 by Rob Zombie. Man, this movie is... Man, I've heard some stuff about this movie. It's like Bill Murray did an interview here recently, and he talks about some of the scenes in this movie, how hard they were to, you know, how hard they were to film. And this movie is this good. Like, House of a Thousand Corpses is a great movie too, but, you know, like I was saying, it was hard for me to pick 20 movies because there's a lot of them I just love. But this one's the best for me. The Devil's Rejects is a fantastic movie. Like, it's great, and Bill Skarsgård, jeez, what am I talking about? Bill Murray, he talks about that scene where they're in the hotel and that lady has to take her clothes off. He said that scene was probably one of the hardest scenes in the movie to film. That's what he said. But the girl who did that in that movie does a fantastic job. She did it like a champ, you know. And it was a very hard scene. You know, it's a hard scene to watch. But even Bill Murray says it was, you know, that wasn't an easy scene to film. But he did it, and she did it. And they did it. But that movie is this... It's a good one. Devil's Rejects. If you're going to watch a Rob Zombie movie, watch House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects. Those two are just, you know, great movies. But we'll move on to The Evil Dead from 1981. This movie, man, it's such good. It's more like a comedy horror movie. You know, they did practical effects. They did nothing but practical effects back then, and It doesn't hold up to this day. It looks bad. But for back then, it was good back then. Like when you seen this movie back then, you're like, man, that looks so good. Like the makeup and like the gore and stuff like that. They're like, man, this looks good. Back then, it looked good, but it doesn't hold up too much to this day. But it's a good movie. It's about these teenagers, Bruce Campbell, and these teenagers. They go out to this cabin. They find an old book, and they read it, and zombies start coming after them. It's more like a comedy kind of, but it's I laugh when I watch it to this day. I love it. It's fantastic. It's one of my favorites. But yeah, it's a good one. Like, great movie. We'll move on to Dracula from 1931. It's a black and white film. Bela Lugosi does a great job as Dracula. This is what kicked off my love for zombie movies. Not zombie movies. This is what kicked off my love for vampire movies. Sorry. I love vampire movies. I just love them. I don't like Twilight too much. I don't like that sprinkle stuff like that. But I like The Blade and all that kind of stuff. But this is what started it all. Like, for me, when I watched this movie, I was like, dang, I love vampires. Vampires are amazing. But it's a good one. Like, it's a great movie. Bela Lugosi does a great job as Dracula. Like, it's it's one of my favorites. Sorry, it's one of my favorites. I was, it's way before my time, 1931. But I watched it when I was a little younger. But it's good. I love it. If you're gonna watch a black and white film, pick one of these movies. You got Wolfman. You got Frankenstein. Like, any of them are good, but like, for me personally, it would be Dracula from 1931. This movie it's a good one. It's an old one, black and white movie, but it's a good one. It really is. We'll move on here to Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1971. This movie is fantastic. Like, this movie is just great. I have a poster right here of the movie, and it's a good movie. Like, this is what, like, one of the like, these right here, like this one and Dracula and Evil Dead are like what started my love for horror. Like, this is the beginning of my horror journey through like all my horror stuff that I love. And this is one of the ones I watched when I first got into horror, because I've heard a lot of things about it, and it's a good one. I've heard some crazy stories how like hot it was. They filmed it in like Texas, and it was like 120 degrees outside, and they had to do all these scenes and wear all this makeup, and it was just miserable. I heard it was very miserable, but it turned out really good, because in the movie you can tell they're hot and sweaty. You can tell in the movie it's pretty hot out there wherever they're at in the movie. And it's good. Like, it's a fantastic movie. If you're gonna watch a Texas Chainsaw Massacre, watch that one. That one's really good. Well, we're gonna move on to Hellraiser 1 and 2. Hellraiser 1 came out in 1987. Hellraiser 2 came out in 1988, the year I was born. And these movies are good. Now, I know most of the Hellraiser movies are not good movies. They're not good movies at all. But the first two are just great movies. If you're gonna watch any of the Hellraiser movies, watch the first two. I met Doug Bradley. He's a fantastic guy. He's nice. I got posters signed by him and got a picture with him. But he does a great job, like, as Pinhead. But these movies are just good. Like, man, like, Hellraiser is just good. Like, it's probably my top 3 in my franchise. Franchises that I love is Hellraiser. They're good movies. They are really good. Like, the graphics in this movie, the practical effects, still practical effects, because CGI is okay, but like, I'm glad back then it was all practical effects. CGI wasn't a thing back then at all. It was all practical effects, and it looks good. Like, All the makeup on the Cenobites look fantastic, and like what they're wearing, all that leather, and it's good. It looks good, fantastic. If you're gonna watch some Hellraiser movies, watch Hellraiser 1 and 2. The movies are good. Let's move on to Star Wars: The Revenge of the Sith from 2005. Like I was saying, I'm a big nerd, and yeah, I love Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan. I have like all the movies and stuff like that, and I love Star Wars. And Revenge of the Sith is my favorite. I'm a big Anakin person, Darth Vader fan, and I'll hold to it to this day. Like, if Anakin did not get hurt, he would have been even more powerful than he was as Darth Vader. Like, man, he would have been a great like Sith if he never got hurt. He still was good. The suit held him back a lot, but if he never got hurt, man, Anakin would have been, he would have been amazing. But yeah, Revenge of the Sith, Star Wars from 2005, great movie. All right, we're gonna move on to Inglourious Bastards from 2009, Quentin Tarantino movie, and Inglourious Bastards is a great movie. I'm a big World War person. I like World War movies, and this one is not. Inglourious Bastards is not too accurate on like the history of World War, but the history of the wars, but it's good. It'll kill me some Nazis. Brad Pitt plays in this movie, and it's a great movie. Like, Brad Pitt does a great job in this movie. There's a lot of movies he does a great job in, but Inglourious Bastards is good. Like, if you're gonna watch a Quentin Tarantino movie, watch Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill 1 and 2. Those are great movies too if you like martial art movies. But them are good too. But Inglourious Bastards from 2009 is just fantastic. We'll move on to another Quentin Tarantino movie, Pulp Fiction from 1994. Pulp Fiction has Travolta in it and Samuel Jackson in it. They both do a great job in this movie. I was young when this came out too, and I seen it. It's good. Like, it's a good one. If you're gonna watch some Quentin Tarantino movies, throw on Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, Kill Bill 1 and 2. Those, and you'll be fantastic. Boom. Those are the great movies to watch. They are good movies. Pulp Fiction is a fantastic movie. But we'll move on to my next one here, and this one was very hard to do because I like a lot of Freddy movies. It was hard for me to pick from all the Freddy movies. Like, this one I did pick was from 1985, Freddy's Revenge. This movie, man, Freddy looks like straight Satan in this movie. Like, they did the makeup on Freddy in this movie is just spot on. Like, it's like the best makeup I've seen on Freddy ever. It's good. Like, it is fantastic. Mark Patton does a great job in this movie. Some of the scenes he does in this movie are cringe to watch, but it's a good movie. I mostly watch it for Freddy because he straight looks like Satan in this movie. He looks evil as hell, and it's good. Like, it's the best, probably one of the best makeup jobs they did on Freddy. It's Freddy's Revenge is a good one. Like, it was hard for me to choose because I like Nightmare on Elm Street 3, 4, and 5. I like all those, and it was hard for me to pick. I didn't want to put a lot of Freddy movies on here because that would have been boring, and I know you guys would think that would be boring if I just threw on a bunch of Freddy movies, so I just had to pick one, and it was hard. But Freddy's Revenge from 1985 is a good one. Watch that one. Now, this last one here is what started my love for horror. All of it. It's what started everything. Like, I have this movie on VHS. I have this movie on DVD like 5-6 times. Like, I love this movie. George A. Romero from 1968, Night of the Living Dead. This movie is great. It's a black and white film. It's about this couple. They go to the grave, and the zombie's coming after them, and the zombie kills her boyfriend, and she goes and finds a house and barricades herself in the house, and there's other people there and all this stuff, and these zombies are they're trying to survive while these zombies are coming at them from the grave. And it's what started my love for horror. It's what started this channel. Like, if it wasn't for Night of the Living Dead, this channel wouldn't be here, basically. Like, Night of the Living Dead is fantastic. I love this movie. Like, oh, I just love it to death. Like, really, I do. And it's a good movie. Like, I watched it 1,000 times. It's fantastic. The VHS copy my grandma gave me and said, don't ever get rid of it. I'm like, no, I'm never going to get rid of it, because it's one of my favorite movies. It's what started everything. But Night of the Living Dead from 1968 by George A. Romero this movie is just fantastic. Check it out, guys. If you're looking for a zombie movie, this is what started the craze for zombies, is Night of the Living Dead. Like, this is what started everything for any zombie movie, The Walking Dead, all that stuff, and City of the Living Dead by, Fulci and stuff like that. This is what started it all, and, it's a great movie. You guys give it a try. But this is my 20 films that I love right there. And it was hard to make this. It took a couple of days to get this down, but I did it. But I hope you guys are doing well out there, and give this video a like and subscribe. And Dead Recliner out of here. Peace.